Alrighty, Keyforgers. Archons all around the world. Brobnar89 is back with yet another edition of groundbreaking discovery here on Cull the Weak. And yes, in case you didn't catch it there, I refer to myself in the third person now. The royal we and all that. Let's see what the royal we have today. Ooh, an evil twin for today. Evil twin of the veteran of Lard. The veteran of Lard. I feel like I've heard of that deck or seen it somewhere. Maybe I've just heard of a different Lard deck somewhere because that's pretty distinct. Lard. Gotta love it. Oh, that's a really neat Archon too. I really like that. Okay, so we see shadows in the middle. Revealing the middle one first. Star Alliance and Untamed. Cool. Let's see what the veteran of Lard Evil Twin has in store. I'll definitely be curious to see if the non-Evil Twin edition of this has been opened yet, because yeah, I feel like I've seen this deck somewhere, but maybe I'm just wishful thinking. Starting off with Monty Bank Evil Twin. Okay, so this is an example of an Evil Twin that's maybe not as good as the original. 1 power, elusive, play, exalt Monty Bank 2 times, action steal 1 for each amber on Monty Bank. Yeah, it's just like, it's pretty meh, because you have to be able to use it twice in order for it to have any value. And at 1 power, even with that elusive, it's very unlikely your opponent's going to let you use that 2 times. So, and they have an extra incentive to kill it because then they get that 2 amber right away. So, yeah, not a great start. One-Eyed Willa Evil Twin is pretty cool. Elusive and skirmish. If the tide is high, your opponent loses 2. I mean, I guess the original is better because you get to steal, which is better than them losing 2, but there you go. Finishing blow, destroy a creature if you do steal 1, a damaged creature if you do steal 1. Not bad. So, whoopsies. Shadow Council, okay, a little bit of stealing, and shout out to the show, the Shadow Council, that run by a grad student. Excellent Keyforge show if you're looking for more content. Old Bruno, a 3-power elusive creature with the capture 3, stir up trouble. A creature and one of its neighbors deal damage equal to their power to each other. So that's a neat little way to deal with obnoxious threats on your opponent's side. Goes nicely with finishing blow. You can kill off the higher power creature once it's damaged. Kerwallop. 1 damage to each creature and gain 1 for each creature destroyed this way. Also goes really well with the finishing blow. Not so good with your Monty Bank. You do not want to play Kerwallop once you have Monty Bank out, because you're just going to give your opponent that 2 amber. Loot or pillage. Choose 1, steal 1, or a friendly creature captures 3. Scooped. 2 damage to a creature. If it's not destroyed, it captures 1 from its own side. Nice little combo with Kerwallop there on a 3-power creature. You can make it capture 1 from its own side and then finish it off. Seeker Needle, additional pinging damage. Definitely good synergy in this deck for lots of pinging damage. Again, another Seeker Needle. Okay. Shoulder Id. Excuse me. Shoulder Id. Yeah, that it goes nicely with Stir Up Trouble because you can steal 1. Because Shoulder Id cannot deal damage and it will steal 1 instead. So that's kind of neat if you choose to do it on yourself. What is this one? Scott, I believe, is the pronunciation for 5CO77. 2-power. I don't think I've seen the Evil Twin of Scott. This is a 2-power robot creature. Reap, destroy another creature with the same power as Scott. You may give Scott a +1 power counter or remove a +1 power counter from Scott. That's cool. That's a neat little trick. Operative Espion is an elusive 4-power creature. This is the Evil Twin, of course. Is After a player raises the tide during their turn, they may deal 3 damage to a creature. Okay. A second one of those. All right. Shield You Later, Evil Twin. You can play it as an upgrade, and the creature loses all armor and gets -2 power. So that could be really good for helping you deal with a threat on the opponent's side. You're not going to want to play that on your own creatures. Away Team. Okay, so hopefully we have lots of upgrades to make that useful. Stunner, that'll help with Away Team. Universal Translator, also good. Xeno Training, a little bit of Amber Control there. Biome Discovery, yeah, so some free tide control in there, and then also lets you kind of check your deck, peek the top of your deck if you have the tide already. Diplomat Agung, of course, some of that great house cheating. It belongs to the house of your choice in addition to its other houses. So you get to choose a creature to give that ability to. That's pretty neat. Technobabble, stunning creature, and each of its neighbors that shares a house with it. You know, it's probably an edge case scenario, but you could see these two working out in combination for you. If you've got the Diplomat, you can say your opponent has like 2 untamed creatures and a Shadows creature. You can assign the Shadows creature to be untamed and then stun all 3 with Technobabble. Now, the most likely thing is that you're going to have a creature of your own that you're going to want to make Starlines so that you can use it. But if you don't have any non-Starlines creatures on the board, that could be a good use of the Diplomat. A second Technobabble. Moving on to the Amberfin Shark Evil Twin. At the end of your turn, each player loses 1. Give Amberfin Shark a +1 power counter for each amber lost this way. That is a interesting spin on the original Amberfin Shark. I don't think I've seen the Evil Twin of this one. Each player loses 1 at the end of your turn. That's very strange. I don't know. Because your opponent could, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's good if you have a lot of burst. So maybe if we have a lot of burst in our untamed here, that could be pretty useful. Chelonia. The Evil Twin of Chelonia is that after you play another creature, if the tide is high, your opponent loses 1. So not as good as the original. The original, of course, gives you burst. So I think that's, less good than the original. A second Chelonia. Lots of ways to make your opponent lose Amber. Evil Twin Mookling. After your opponent forges a key, give Mookling a +1 power counter for each Amber spent to forge that key. Again, not as good as the original. That's going to increase key costs for your opponent. Witch of the Dawn Evil Twin. Now this one's fun. Destroy another friendly creature. If you do, put a different creature from your discard pile. Play a different creature from your discard pile ready and use that creature. That's pretty neat. You could use that on Diplomat Agung, and you would get to assign 2 creatures to House Untamed that way, which would be pretty cool. You could use that on... There's a couple of neat options in here. So you could use that on the Scott and destroy an enemy creature. You could use that on the Monty Bank Evil Twin, put it into play, and then... Actually, it's play it, not put into play, which is distinct and important. That distinction is important. You play it and then steal 2 with the action. So yeah, there's some really neat choices for the Witch of the Dawn there. All tied up. If the tide is high, gain 1. Otherwise, raise the tide. A little bit of tide control in here. Key Frog. Always fun to see Key Frog. Love that key cheat. Mollymawk. Okay, a little bit of artifact control, always good to see. Milo B. So don't underestimate the power of Milo B. Enraging your opponent's creatures can be a very effective way to shut down their board. Reap or Sow. Okay. So some power counters, not as important in this Untamed lineup, it looks like so far. Ready and Reap with a friendly creature is always a great thing to be able to do. The Fittest, give each friendly creature a +1 power counter. And Way of the Pixie. So Way of the Pixie goes nicely with the Reaper, so you can put down the Way of the Pixie and then reap with that creature, and you get an extra amber out of it. Interesting deck. Let's take a look here. I'm thinking that it seems like maybe Amber Control is a little, well, no, there's a decent, an okay amount of Amber Control, not a ton. Board Control seems a little bit low. Let's look at the Amber Control first to start with. Not a lot of Untamed, which is not surprising. Double Evil Twin Chelonia, so that's definitely a significant amount of Amber Control. I haven't used a lot of Evil Twin Chelonia, so it's hard to say how much it'll matter. I mean, there's a decent number of creatures in here, so maybe that'll be pretty good, actually. Amberfin Shark, of course, going to slow you both down. The nice thing about the Amberfin Shark together with the Key Frog is that because Amberfin Shark triggers at the end of your turn, if you can kill Key Frog off on your turn before you lose that amber from Amberfin Shark, you're going to be able to forge and then pass the turn and then, you know, potentially not lose anything while making your opponent lose some amber. So that could be neat. So there's 2 cards that do some Amber Control. We've got Xeno Training that does some Amber Control. Or excuse me, that's 3. This Xeno Training makes 4. Because there's the 2 Evil Twin Chelonias. Scooped 5. Looter Pillage 6. Old Bruno 7. Shadow Council 8. One-Eyed Villain 9. Monty Bank. I mean, I guess it's there. So there's no, it's okay. It's an okay, respectable amount of Amber Control. It's nothing too exciting. Definitely usable Amber Control. It's not super situational, but it feels a little bit limited, a little bit clunky maybe. I want to count the creatures because I want to know how good those 2 Chelonias might be. Obviously, you have to play a creature to activate those Chelonias. So we'll see how many we have here. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So a pretty respectable creature count. You could actually see making your opponent lose quite a bit, but with the 2 Chelonias, with Elusive and with Shoulder Id for them to hide behind, that could actually be a pretty good way to make your opponent lose a decent amount of amber. Monty Bank, of course, you might not be able to play it. You might have to just discard it. But there's a pretty good argument for Chelonias as amber control here. So, yeah, decent. Could be good. Let's count amber pips. 1, 2, and all tied up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10. So not a huge number of amber pips, but we do have a lot of creatures that are going to be able to reap for us. So that kind of balances it out a little bit. And then let's look at board control. That's kind of, I'm a little concerned about the board control here. We have Miloby that can kind of shut things down a little bit. 2 Technobabbles, that's 3. Stunner. These 2 are like not super exciting. Scott. We're kind of at like 6, but like so many of these, I'm like, is it even really removal? Scooped 7. 2 Seeker Needles. I don't know. 8, I guess. Finishing Blow 9. we can definitely count finishing the blow as having value with all the pinging damage we have. So yeah, there's no board wipe. There's not a lot of ways to deal with like big threats on the opponent's side. So you can kind of slow things down with like enraging or stunning, and you can take care of small little threats that you can ping off the board. But if your opponent just has a really wide board, you're going to be in trouble, because even with our large creature count, we don't have a lot of stuff that can fight. We have a couple of 5-power bodies that can just kind of swing into things, but yeah, it'll be tough. Shield You Later can also help you like take care of a big threat, but I'd be concerned overall about creature control in this deck. So it seems like you need to be on the board and do a lot of reaping and try to get that Key Frog off before it's too late. But again, it's going to be a bit of a struggle if your opponent has a really, really wide board. You might be very challenged with that. There's a few neat tricks in here, like with the Evil Twin Witch of the Dawn, and there's a couple of cool things that could go with that. Like I was saying, the Monty Bank with Evil Twin Witch of the Dawn, I think that might be the most viable Evil Twin Monty Bank I've seen, because being able to trigger it in that first turn and then possibly hide it behind Shoulder ID, that could make for some really neat plays. And double Evil Twin Chelonia with a high creature count, I think has some potential to like keep your opponent off while you build your board, while you get to that Key Frog viability. But I'm thinking overall this deck might struggle against a big board. Against a deck that doesn't care too much about the board and has, like relatively small creatures that can be pinged off, this deck could do pretty well. So it's an interesting one. Definitely some neat tricks to try out in here. This has been another edition of Groundbreaking Discovery on Cull the Weak. And we'll catch you next time.